morning, gorgeous. Great to be out here with you. It's a bit funny, actually. The sun's behind a cloud, but as soon as I take the hat off, it's going to come out and blind me. So I'm just going to leave it on. So what we have here today, of course, is these fantastic nerines. They are gorgeous. And I counted the stems. I think there's 31 of them. Hi, Sonchia! It's this huge clump that I planted, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. I don't remember. Hi, Linda! And it's just completely doing wonderfully, so I'm sharing that with you. And you can imagine the sweetest scent, because they are lovely. They get chewed by something, but the blooms survive. So just enjoying those. Rachel, good morning, gorgeous. It's great to be out here, sharing the nerines with you, because they're so beautiful. What else have we got? The other star of the show, no, I can't walk through the rose bed, that's just asking for trouble, is the Japanese anemones, which are like a cloud of flutterbys when they're like this. We've had a little bit more rain, just on and off, but enough to stop everything from completely shriveling up. And it's beautiful to be able to share this abundance of flowers with you. Yeah, it is. Wow. Morning, Steph. It's great to see you. We're just out here enjoying the garden. Ione, it's beautiful to see you. This is, this used to be a pot plant 30, 40 years ago, Ratamachia. And it's a fabulous thing. It's really tough. It grows outside. Enjoy your day, Sonchia, and enjoy the replay when you get to it. And you can just see, it's called Canton lace. Who knows why. But it's beautiful, and it gets tall, and then I cut it down like, a tree, and it sprouts from the bottom. So I really enjoy that. And, the other thing hasn't stopped yet. Look, the Luculia is still flowering. I love white flowers because they often smell beautiful. Yay, Emily, great to see you too. You're a good start to my day as well, all of you. So enjoy the flowers, because I do. Oops, try not to fall over, Maddie. So yesterday is like a lifetime ago. Let me just say that. So I can't even remember what it was. Oh, look, our conversation's been awesome. And I really wanted to talk about kind of neuroscience 101. And it's interesting because in the last 24 hours, of course, I have lived an experience of this, naturally. But I wasn't planning that, because it happened this morning. I wasn't planning that when I wrote the post last night. So, because we've been talking about saying no, walking away from manipulation, taking full responsibility for ourselves and not for anybody else's state of being, because actually you can't make anybody feel anything. Morning, Victor, lovely to see you. You can't. You can't. No matter what anybody tells you about, oh, you made me feel blah, that's bullshit. Love, it's great to see you, honey. It's complete bullshit. Nobody can make you feel anything. You have to actually allow yourself to feel it yourself. Now, we can be very conditioned into it, and we think that it's coming from outside us, but actually it's programmed. It's who we think we are, okay? So we've been talking about all that, and I wanted to get even more practical about change and how that actually works for me, right? And what I've learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza, which I found so useful and so repeatable and so practical, and I love that it's science and that I can explain it. Because, if it's science and it's repeatable and you can explain it, well, then you've got a dog's chance of actually going away and doing it. And as he says, if you understand the what and the why, the how gets easier, and it does. So if you are accustomed to thinking, well, this pain and this way of feeling and saying no is hard, I just find it really hard to say no. Do you? No, you've got used to finding it hard to say no. Glenn, good morning. It's not you. It's just what you're used to being. It's your familiar way of going and doing and being in the world. And you have probably painful memories about people and places and things and situations that happened And what happens when we have a powerful experience? And I had a powerful experience when I was 5, the first day I went to school. Nobody did anything to me, but I had the most severe separation anxiety. And I really only recognised a month or 2 or 3, whatever ago, that actually set me up for a lifetime of separation and fear. Anyway, so you have an experience, whatever it is, good, bad or indifferent, by the way, if there's sufficient emotional amplitude in the experience, what your brain does every single time, because this is what the brain is supposed to do, is you have the experience, and because it's novel and it's new, neurons in your brain make connections. That's what happens when you learn something. When you have a new experience, you go, oh, that was a really interesting piece of information. Oh my God, that was horrible. See, you've learned that something was horrible. The definition of learning is way beyond facts. Hi, Kim, it's lovely to see you. Oh, that was amazing. Oh, that was boring. You know, and notice all of those are felt experiences. So what happens is your brain makes a new connection about something that's happened in your environment. And when it makes connections, there are neurotransmitters that get released. And depending on the kinds of connections that make different neurotransmitters. Now, those neurotransmitters then go and talk to your hypothalamus and your pituitary. Can't remember the order. It's probably different depending on different things. See, I don't know that much about this. And then those parts of your brain signal your hormonal centres, and you have an emotion. That is what happens. And if it's a really powerful emotion like I had when I was 5 and went to school the first day, and I'd been shown around and everything else, I just completely lost it at the bus stop. My sisters were there. My mother took us down to the bus stop. My sisters were there, my mum went away, and I lost the plot. I cried all the way to school, and I was still crying when I walked into the classroom. Nobody was unkind. The teacher was really sweet. They gave me a pillow, lie down. 2 girls were there with me. Didn't mean a thing. I remember lying there completely frozen, just frozen. Oh, yeah, see, Linda, that was different for you. But we all have these experiences, and they brand us, right? Now, my body at that time got a huge dose of stress hormones. And my brain said, that's because my mum went away and I got on the bus and I went to school. And, I was a fairly resilient kid, so the next day I was fine. And I thought no more of it, I just carried on. But what I didn't understand is that experience was so powerful, is that it branded me emotionally and chemically, and I didn't really come out of that survival mode ever. So the whole of my life, I have actually been viewing the world through that lens of whatever it was, which, I can't say, somebody made me feel bad. There was none of that. It was just this very powerful experience, and it branded me emotionally, and I was not aware of it at all. So, long story short, because I'm not going to tell you the long story, this morning, I went back there, but I went back in a different way. I went back with the Divine Observer, and the Divine Observer and I, having, quieted my brain, having got out of pretty rugged space, because I've been in that chaos space of creation and shifting things and letting stuff go. It's been really interesting the last few days. I got into the space where my brain was quiet. I'm down in theta, which is magic land, which is where, like hypnosis, but I'm conscious, I'm not asleep. Desi Slava, good morning. And we're there back in the classroom, but the Divine Observer and I are sitting where those 2 girls were that were with me, one in each, and we're holding this 5-year-old me in love. And I can see and kind of feel at the same time this little tight, scared body. Have you ever had that experience when you're lying on the floor but your body's not lying on the floor? It's just like you're stiff like a board. I remember feeling like that. Laura, it's great to see you. I remember that. And I remember feeling really stupid and really small. And the feeling of being really stupid and really small had persisted through a lot of my life. See, it was right there. I didn't feel really stupid and really small before I got to school. At least I don't think so. It's hard to remember. I don't remember much of being small at all. So anyway, we created a change, and there was a point at which the stiff, bored, little frozen me was able to let go. So, oh, that's good, okay. And then suddenly she was sort of up and wandering around and looking at things and poking us and, wanting to play. Us being me and the divine observer, right? Now, what happened there? And it feels different. And right now, I actually feel a bit disoriented because there are a whole lot of synaptic connections that pruned apart in my brain this morning. Because there was enough love, there was enough amplitude of the new experience that I created inside myself to start washing out the old one. I can still feel stuff shifting in my brain. There's energy moving through my body from time to time. And I'm thinking, who the hell am I now? Where's the old me? Because there's big stuff I need to shift. And I'm doing it because I know how. I've spent the last 11 months getting really good with these skills that I've developed, and I can go into the field and I can get myself out of deep fear and high beta, and I can go deep into theatre and I can create this kind of change. Kelly Bird, it's gorgeous to see you. And it boils down to being able to manage our brains. Go to the Heart Math Institute. Heart Math Institute, Timothy, because then there's a tools archive. There's some really good tools there for kids. Very simple, very useful, and they work. I've been doing heart math stuff a lot in the last day because I just needed to stay heart-centered. Charlotte, good morning. So that's a long story, even though I tried to truncate it. The point being that you got to have a new experience. You got to take your awareness and your attention off the old one. This is why I rabbit on about not continuing to tell the old story. There is value in understanding it, but what I have discovered is that the insight comes usually when I let it go, which is kind of paradoxical, but that's just how it works for me. So we've got to stop investigating and exploring and analysing and reliving the old experience, because every time you think about the old thing, every time you remember your reasons for feeling the way you do, or the way your life is, or how come you can't do this, or whatever, you are firing up that neural network again. The one that, like when I went to school and I was, every time I felt small and stupid, I fired up that neural network again. Every time. And when you do that, you put your attention on it, you remember it, biologically and neurologically, your body is straight back into the past. Every time I had that feeling, I was 5 again. It is that straightforward. It really is. This is so powerful to understand this. Every time you fire up the memory again, you make it real right now. And therefore that chemistry is flowing and it's conditioning your body into more of whatever physical and emotional and energetic and financial and relationship and whatever other conditions you have. So we have to take our attention off that stuff. And you know why it's so hard to stop thinking those old stories and analysing them and going into them? And it is because there are super highways of feeling small and stupid in my brain. At least there were. And my body conditioned to those feelings of, my body really knows how to do that. And yesterday, it was doing fear. It was doing fear out the wazoo. And you know what was different about yesterday? I mean, it kept on doing it, but I could stop. I could breathe in and out of my heart 4 or 5 times with awareness that, love is coming into my heart as I breathe. Love is going out of my heart as I breathe. I do that 4 or 5 times, it calms down. Indira, lovely to see you. Yeah, it's funny. And you know why? Okay, diversion. People try to remind you, but the only information that can get into your nervous system is that which is equal to your emotional state. So if you're in a complete lost the plot, people can tell you the truth until they're blue in the face and you can't hear it. Lisa Louise, good morning. This is just how it works. Which is why we have to be able to change our state. And for me, the heart breathing, the heart math stuff has really been great because I've been sitting at my computer thinking, I know what I'm believing. I know what's true here. I know where I'm putting my attention. And my body is doing the old program. It's doing the program of fear. And I don't buy into this anymore. This is not real. This is not me. So I have to find a way into my autonomic nervous system to say, calm it down. Calm it down. And so I know how to do this now. All of which also, when you put your attention on your heart, you take it off whatever is going on in your world, you are taking your awareness away from that. You're not firing that neural network. And so however you do it, and as you know, I go into the field and I create very powerfully now through this work that I've learned with Joe Dispenza. I'm making new experiences, and I'm making the experience so real inside myself that it doesn't matter that it quote unquote hasn't happened in quote unquote real life. What I understand now is that this body, the 360-degree hologram of my life that's around me, that is the illusion. The reality is the fractal pattern in light and consciousness and awareness that is me. And what I perceive and what I continue to observe into reality by my state of being, and what I can say is real, and what I'm scared of, and what I'm excited about, and everything else, the divine observer has to honour that. Must give me my state of being, must endorse who I'm being. And who I'm being is what I'm thinking about, and what I'm feeling, and what I'm doing. And so I'm having this interesting experience now, and it is really interesting. And the old me would have been terrified, and the new me is just kind of interested because I recognise how perfect this is. I really do. That I really have something concrete now where I am now walking as my future self. And I know my body and my life is going to catch up with me. I absolutely know it because I have so much evidence that I've already produced about what I can do. And so I've done this, and I've done this, and I've done this, and I've done this, and I can do that too. And the other interesting thing is finding myself saying, it's not just I can do it. I can do it. I am doing it. And I have done it. It becomes now. Hi, Sharon! It's actually now. It's the weirdest thing to think, I'm creating this change, but I've already done it. And it's interesting. It's so interesting. Being aware of the fact that the past where I was and the present where I'm creating and the future where it's done are all now. And that future me, I just felt in a flash just numbers of future me's. Yesterday I came home and I meditated. Numbers of future me, and they're all reaching out to me and saying, come on, you can get here. You can get here. We're here already. So, and you see, all of that is about the future. I am not analysing the past, because you're right, Linda. You just come up to a point where it just goes round and round and round. You've got to get out of that pattern, because that's the old neural networks. Nothing new is going to come from the old neural networks. You've got to make new ones. Yeah, I'm kind of amazed, Laura, that I'm on fire today, because I have no idea who I am today, really. It's like, whoa, something's changed in my brain, in my body. Elaine, it's great to see you. I love this work. I cannot imagine my life without it now. My God, who would I be and how would I be? Doesn't bear thinking about. So, to make sure I actually get back to the topic, this is why it's so important. Alicia, good morning. It's so important to realise you've got to take your attention off the things that scare you and the things that seem impossible and the things that have been part of you for however long. And you've got to put your attention onto the things you want. Because when you do that, you make new connections in your brain, right? And then new connections about different things, and the new connections need to include the emotion that you desire to feel. It's not enough to think it, you've got to feel it too. And when you do that, you get different neurotransmitters that send different signals to the hypothalamus and the pituitary, and you get different neuropeptides, and then your different hormonal centers get prompted to send you different hormones, and you have a different experience, and that's how we do it. And then you condition your body, you give your body a taste of what it is that you're imagining and creating and feeling before it's happened in 3D. That's what we are doing. That's what we are able to do. Yeah, blow glitter. I know what you mean. Sometimes it's like my body is practically filled up with shimmering, sparkling motes of glittering light. And I feel, waves of it flowing through me as things change. It's amazing. So that's really what I want to talk about. This is what we are capable of doing. And there's no other way to create the change that we desire in our lives. Not really. You can look at all the things that people do or have done to create change, and fundamentally, when you understand this model that I've learned from Joe, you realise that without fail, they've changed their state of mind, they've changed their state of being, they changed how they think and how they feel and how they act, and the life they desire catches up with them. And the only thing we don't know is how long it's going to take, but we do know that it's going to happen if we just don't quit on ourselves. I've got to believe in my future more than my past. And so do you. Where do you put your attention? Because where you put your attention is where you put your energy. We can't escape it. So you might as well be defined by a vision of your future rather than the memories of your past. That's the choice we make every moment. Beautiful being, I know I am out of time. You totally send out a template. I've just got time to talk about this. What it is, and I think I talked about, no, I haven't explained this before. This is something I learned from Joe. And it's a bit hard. You have to use your imagination. If you imagine like a square tray and it's full of water, right? Or, long rectangular tray, it's full of water, and you can freeze it in an instant to ice. And if you take pebbles and you drop them in the water, the instant those pebbles hit the water, they're going to make waves, right? Now, if you could freeze that medium, that water or whatever it was, the moment that the pebbles dropped, so it's got those concentric rings of waves going from where the pebbles are, right? And if you could somehow turn that into a lens and shine a light through it, you would get a hologram of the pebbles. Now, the hologram of the pebbles is this. The pattern in light is that thing that has those waves, the frequency, the pattern, the information. And that is this. That's that thing, that consciousness that inhabits and enlivens and animates me and you and all of us. So we are patterns in light, and our lives are collapsed into existence by our observation, and the divine observer has to endorse who we are. Because that's like the light that's in the projector that goes through and says, here's the hologram. That's the divine observer. Has to endorse the pattern in light that is there. So I hope that makes sense. It's kind of an interesting thing to realise that this is how holograms work. Okay, I am definitely out of time now. It's so beautiful to share with you, and it's lovely to be hanging out with people who know what I'm talking about, which is awesome because clearly you're doing the work too. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you for sharing, because some of you do, and I so appreciate it. I actually did go over the 2,222 mark, so we will be moving to, this will be becoming a page soon, but don't go away, nothing should change for you, it's just going to become a page, because I have to make space for growth. That is what I'm here to do. Big love, I will be back tomorrow. Hugs, bye-bye.